Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. One of my favorite things about talking about music is when some of my viewers end up, checking out some of the music I'm talking about. And, sometimes they become fans of, the different artists that I talk about throughout the years. And so I thought I would try this and see if I get any interaction with my viewers with it. I'm hoping that some of my viewers will do this. What I've done is I've put together 12 artists that I really like or love, and I've chosen two songs from each of the artists and made a Spotify playlist. But you can also, just go on YouTube and check out the songs. You don't have to go through Spotify. And so the bands, well, this is the first half. So you can see the first half of the Spotify playlist. So there's 6 artists in total there. And what I've done is I got a little write-up on each of the bands, just in case, you're not familiar with some of them. And so what I would love my viewers to do, once you've seen all 12 artists, is hopefully the two artists that you're either not familiar with at all, or you just, maybe heard just a little bit of their music. I want you to check out the 2 songs by whatever 2 artists, in the next hour, in the next day, in the next week, at some point, hopefully soon. And then come back, listen to the 2 songs, wherever, Spotify or YouTube, and then come back and, just give me your opinion of the artist. So I'm hoping that you pick 2 artists, right? And then you come back and you tell me out of the 2 artists, which one you preferred. And if you think you could possibly, continue checking out their music, or, maybe you don't like either artist, which is fine. But it's just, another way of sharing music. So as you can see, there's a little write-up for each of the artists. So Wire, I've chosen 2 songs. I have their first 3 albums, and I love all 3 of them. Pink Flag was their debut, and then Chairs Missing and 154, all from the late 70s. I've chosen 2 songs. And there's, like I said, a little write-up. I'm not going to read all the write-ups, but if you're interested in any of these artists, please, read a little write-up on them. And like I said, if there's a certain artist you haven't heard, and, the little description perks your interest, I hope you check out the songs and then come back and let me know. So, the 15th and Lowdown for Wire. And then the next band is Nectar, and they're basically a prog rock, maybe a little bit of psychedelic music, especially early on. I've chosen 2 songs from their debut album, Astronaut's Nightmare, and from A Tab in the Ocean, Desolation Valley / Waves. And as you can see, they're a UK band, but they formed in Germany. And, spacey, psychedelic concept albums. Some really heavy guitar work, too. Some of what they do is heavy, and I love that. But, yeah, if you're a fan of prog rock, just in general, I really think you would appreciate Nectar if you haven't heard them. So I hope some of you check out these 2 songs. Then, like I said, come back and let me know what you think of them. And then next up, of course, Ween. I've talked about quite often on my 2 YouTube channels. They're definitely not for everybody, but I've chosen 2 of their more... earlier on, they were a little more experimental and crazy and everything, and then they got more professional, And, the 2 songs, one is instrumental, and it shows Dean Ween's incredible guitar work. He's a really good guitarist. And it's a tribute for Eddie Hazel. Of course, one of the great guitar solos of all time is him doing Make It Brain. And so this is a tribute to Eddie Hazel, who was in the band Funkadelic, or Parliament Funkadelic. And then Exactly Where I'm At is the opening song from White Pepper. And I just think it's, an amazing song. And so I hope some of you check out Ween. And then, Sean Ono Lennon. And I'm very happy to hear that I guess there's going to be another Claypool Lennon Delirium album in the new year. They've released 2 so far, and so looking forward to the 3rd one. And I've chosen 2 songs from his first 2 solo albums. One is called Mystery Juice, and the other one is Parachute. And I've only recently heard these, 2 solo albums by Sean Lennon, and I was just so impressed with them. So I hope some of you check out the early work of Sean Ono Lennon. And now for some Canadian content. The Guess Who. And as I've, said before, they're known for their big hits, American Woman, These Times, American Woman, These Eyes, No Time, Share the Land, and many others. But I think they made great albums. So I've chosen 2 of their heavier songs, Heartbroken Bopper from Rockin', and Hang On to Your Life from Share the Land. And then the final 2, we're halfway through this Spotify playlist. The Velvet Underground. And once again, you read up about them there and see if you haven't heard their music, see if that perks up your interest at all or turns you right off. The first one is Lady Godiva's Operation, which is kind of a creepy kind of a song, but really cool. And then the other one is What Goes On, with some really excellent music in it. So, but the Velvet Underground are definitely one of my all-time favorite bands. The only thing that kind of sucks is there were only really 4. I know there was a 5th album, but that was mainly a Doug Ewell solo album. So they only really released 4 albums, but all 4 are just so good. All right, the second half of the Spotify playlist. Captain Beefheart. So the first song is actually not weird at all. Now, he can get really bizarre, so I thought it would take it easy on you for the first song, and it just shows you what a great singer Captain Beefheart is. The song is called Too Much Time from Clear Spot, and the other one is a little more out there. It's pretty heavy. It is called Hothead. So just a little sampling of the crazy world of Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band. And I know, as always, this woman always gets bashed by certain people, even John Lennon fans, sadly. But she made some really good song-based albums, in case you haven't heard them. And so I've chosen the title song from Approximately Infinite Universe, and also What a Bastard the World Is. Because I just think she's a great songwriter. She's definitely not for everybody, but if you're, have a little bit of an interest in checking out some of her more song-based music, I hope you check her out. And then, next up, Frank Zappa. So the first song is Inca Roads, and I think that was the very first song by Frank Zappa I ever heard, because it comes from the album One Size Fits All, which was the first First album by him I bought back in 1975. I've been a fan ever since. And the other song is from Hot Rats. It's a instrumental. It's kind of a jazz rock instrumental, but just amazing. So if you haven't heard much of Frank Zappa, check out Inca Roads and Peaches and Regalia. Blue Oyster Cult. So yeah, they're known mainly for Don't Fear the Reaper, Godzilla, and Burning for You. But I have their whole discography. I think they've got a really deep catalog with lots of great songs. So and also Buck Dharma, their lead guitarist. I think he's one of the most underrated guitarists in rock music. And so you'll hear lots of great guitar work in the songs Black Blade, which is a pretty heavy song for them. They can get pretty heavy, but they do it all. They do it all. And then Seven Screaming Diz Busters from Tyranny and Mutation. So if you like lots of great guitar work, I highly recommend you check out Blue Oyster Cult. Can, yeah, from Germany. Kind of experimental. Some of it's, once again, pretty out there. And then some of it is more, like if you like Kraftwerk, a band like Kraftwerk, you might like at least some of what Can does. And I've chosen Future Days, which is a fairly normal song and kind of a little similar to Kraftwerk and just a very cool song. And the other one is probably the longest song on this playlist, You Do Right, which is like, I think, 60 minutes, or maybe even longer than that, maybe 20 minutes. But it is just amazing, especially as it gets towards the end. And if you love a lot of great jamming, Can might be the band for you to check out. Lots of great guitar work and percussion and everything. And finally, the Irish band, The Undertones. And yeah, so the first song is Teenage Kicks, which was a pretty big hit for them in the UK from their debut album. And the other one is more of a Beatlesque pop rock song from Positive Touch called Julie Ocean. And I love Fergal Sharkey, the lead singer, for the first few Undertones albums. I know they are still, I guess touring today, but without Fergal Sharkey, of course, on lead vocals. But yeah, a very unique singer. And yeah, I love the Undertones. And so that's it. Even if only one person that watches this video checks out a couple of these artists and becomes fans of one of the artists, then this video is definitely worth doing, right? And hopefully I get some responses. But you never know with the way YouTube is these days. But I do hope you check out. So the idea is at least check out one of the artists. But I'm hoping you check out two different artists and then let me know out of the two which one you like more. And, if you've become a fan of either of the artists and, you want to check out more of their work. And that is it. Thank you for watching. I'll have a link for the Spotify playlist in the pinned comment below. Bye.